Moment for sober reflection as Nigeria remembers her fallen gallant heroes.
NAFDAC will note clinical peculiarities in form of serious or adverse events following immunization in the dossier that we are reviewing.
NAFDAC warns against adulterated COVID-19 vaccine. Plus, schools resumption. Federal Ministry of Education asks parents and institutions to comply with COVID-19 safety protocols. Hello, a very warm evening to you. This is NTA Network News and we are live in Abuja. I am Jumbo Yusuf. Tonight, Adiola Kami Akere is in Lagos and Charles Abba will be joining us from Makurdi in the course of the news bulletin. Now we begin with activities marking the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations finally came to a close nationwide with the symbolic wreath-laying ritual at the cenotaph of the unknown soldier in Abuja, the nation's capital. The airport-making and solemn occasion presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari took place at the National Arcade. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has a report.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is an annual event set aside to honor the nation's fallen heroes who sacrificed their lives during the World Wars, the Nigerian Civil War, as well as the various peacekeeping and internal security operations. This year's ritual is particularly significant as it coincides with the massive onslaught against terrorism, insurgency, and other criminal activities in parts of the country. In the last 7 days, for instance, over 110 terrorists were neutralized and nearly 400 livestock recovered in various military operations. The need to appreciate the contributions of the troops towards the restoration of normalcy in troubled spots as well as protection of the nation's territorial integrity is therefore of great importance. Laying of the wreath at the cenotaph of the unknown soldier by President Muhammadu Buhari was indeed the climax of the solemn commemorative activities kicked off in October last year. The president was joined by Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Speaker Femi Bajabiamila of the House of Representatives, Chief Justice of Nigeria, as well as Ministers of Defense and the FCT. There were also the Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, as well as representatives of the Diplomatic Corps, the Nigerian Legion, and widows of the fallen heroes. Special prayers were offered for the repose of the souls of the departed soldiers, as well as peace, unity, stability, and prosperity of the country.
Lord God, bless and protect our government and political leaders at all levels. Reward their struggle with great success for us all.
بين القوات المسلحة النيجيرية والإرهابيين في شمال الشرق النيجيري.
Grant unto us who are alive grace, courage, and determination to keep the flag of selfless service to our fatherland flying.
At the launch of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day Emblem and Appeal Fund last October, President Muhammadu Buhari made a strong case for Nigerians to desist from actions and comments that are inimical to the stability and prosperity of Nigeria. He said Nigeria's unity has been achieved at great cost and must therefore be guarded jealously by all, as the strength of the nation lies in her diversity. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Well, today is Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which has been marked with elaborate ceremony at the National Remembrance Arcade, Abuja, culminating to the laying of the wreath and other actions symbolizing military tradition. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani breaks down these symbolic acts.
Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, When the president lays the wreath, it is termed a most solemn ceremony in observance of the National Remembrance Day, more solemn than other wreath-laying ceremonies by other dignitaries. The general salute used to welcome the president, the chief of defense staff and other service chiefs, as well as other dignitaries, is another military tradition. It is a mark of respect accorded to high-ranking officers and other dignitaries. A unique type of salute is the respect that is rendered over a grave by a military honor guard. Originally, 3 rifle volleys were fired into the air over the grave of a fallen soldier. This custom may well have originated as a perceived need to scare away evil spirits escaping from the dead. Today, the homage and respect displayed at military funerals is a visible final tribute to those individuals who have served their country. The Unknown Soldier is a monument dedicated to the services of an unknown soldier. It symbolizes the common memories of all soldiers killed in war. The réveil, le réveil in French, is a bugle or trumpet call, chiefly used to wake military personnel at sunrise. The name comes from réveil, the French word for wake up. Another interpretation of the call is that one day the soldiers will rise again. There are many more symbols which are part of military tradition, but these are the ones which are apt for this occasion of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
The state government will continue to engage the services of retired servicemen of the armed forces and leverage on their wealth of experience to strengthen the security architecture of the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stated this after the wreath-laying ceremony to commemorate this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports.
It was yet another time of the year when serving officers of the Nigerian Armed Forces come out in their colorful ceremonial uniforms to honor ex-servicemen and pay glowing tributes to the departed veterans of the armed forces. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu lauded the arduous task being carried out by the armed forces to decimate insurgencies and curb banditry across the country. He, however, acknowledged the patriotism displayed by the fallen heroes to defend the country against external attacks.
It's been also a testimonial and it's a yearly ritual that we're thankful to God that we can still keep this year's activity as important as it is.
Inspection of guard of honor by Governor Sanwo-Olu, wreath-laying session, as well as 3-gun salutes were integral part of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is commemorated in Nigeria on January 15 every year. More importantly, it is a day set aside to reassure the dependents of the fallen heroes that they are not alone.
In a related development, Governor Sanwo-Olu has announced the composition of a 4-man committee to work out modalities with the family of the deceased former military administrator of Lagos State, Rear Admiral Ndubisi Kanu, for befitting burial. He disclosed this when he paid a condolence visit on the family of the late Rear Admiral. The former military administrator, late Rear Admiral Ndubisi Kanu, who died on the 13th January, was a prominent voice in NADECO and was also at the helm of affairs in Lagos State between 1977 and 1978. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And various states across the country joined in honoring the gallantry and bravery of the Nigerian Armed Forces as the nation marks the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Wufan Shaji compiled the various ceremonies in honor of the fallen heroes.
In Akwa Ibom State, the government has injected the sum of 100 million naira to boost the small and medium-scale businesses of wives of fallen heroes.
We must not only utter words of encouragement and appreciation, but must pay our thoughts and wallets to the families they left behind.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has tasked government at all levels to formulate policies that will adequately cater for families of fallen heroes and members of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Thank all the military personnel for your selfless service and sacrifice. Admittedly, no amount of recompense can adequately assuage the loss of precious lives.
Meanwhile, in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde assured people of government's continued collaboration with security agencies for sustainable peace in the society and promised unflinching support to families of fallen heroes.
They're doing their best. So, for us as a government, our responsibility is to encourage them.
From Damaturu, the Yobe State capital, Governor Mai Mala Buni, alongside other personalities, marked the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. In Kano, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje led heads of security agencies and other prominent citizens to honor the nation's fallen heroes. In Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki is seeking a joint effort against insurgency in the country. He wants Nigerians to support officers and men of the armed forces in fighting the menace.
Security is everybody's responsibility. It's just not the responsibility of only those in uniform.
In Kwara State, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration was a solemn one as men of the Nigerian Legion decried their neglected status.
The sportsmen, when they say they won't give us, make they give us in time to maintain ourselves.
Meanwhile, Niger, Nasarawa, Jigawa, and Delta state governments have pledged their continued support to the welfare of 7 security operatives and their families.
May Allah grant them his Gafur.
We need a national, united Nigeria that will ensure national integration.
In Osun State, Governor Gbega Oyetola reiterated his commitment to the welfare of Nigerian Legion and their families for their sacrifices in the service of the nation.
We assure you that your welfare and that of your families of the fallen heroes will continually be prioritized.
Meanwhile, in Ebonyi State, Gombe and Kogi State, the day was also celebrated as well as in Cross River State, where Governor Ben Ayade donated a brand new bus to the Nigerian Legion to aid the movement of its members. Legionary Wives Association of Nigeria, Bauchi State Chapter, put smiles on the faces of some women whose husbands have contributed in nation building and various peacekeeping operations. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
Thank you, Gufan. And now joining me in the studio to talk more on Armed Forces Remembrance Day is Commando Christian Anuge, retired but not retired space engineer. You're welcome to Network News.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Yeah.
You've served your country well until your retirement. So can you tell us how you would rate this year's, celebration, especially in terms of changing, circumstances and the new normal now around the world? How would you rate it this year?
I think, generally speaking, it is quite commendable because this year's event took a unique turn in that it cuts across just bare formalities on the rituals of laying of wreaths. It is important to know that most state governments are beginning to key into the vision of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is to remember the fallen heroes and even the living heroes, those that are still serving, like some of us. For instance, I'm pleased to hear that the Lagos State government is trying to engage the services of ex-servicemen in areas of nation building by way of empowering them to contribute meaningfully to the development of the states. That is commendable because when you are retired, you are not retired. A lot has been invested in us in terms of training and in terms of capacity building. And even when one is not in the active service, this is a time to pay back to society what the government has imputed on us. That's quite commendable. And it's also gladdening to hear that most state governments are looking into the welfare of ex-servicemen, empowering widows of the fallen heroes, and also looking at the areas of empowering them in terms of entrepreneurial skills. These are good developments, and it has actually given hope to the essence of this Armed Forces Remembrance Day. And this year soon has been unique, and the support that is being given to the Armed Forces is, to the Legion, is quite commendable. I've just heard the state government donating a bus to the Legion and all that. Those are some of the things that should be done. It's not just a federal thing. The state governments are keen into it, and that's a very commendable development.
And some of them are even saying that they would like to come, and serve the nation again, even in retirement. Now, let's look behind, beyond the actual celebration and look at the symbolic, celebration to our soldiers in the fronts, and including counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast and other missions. Our soldiers are out there every day battling these insurgents. So, how symbolic is it to them?
Yeah, that's quite relevant. The truth is that the retired veteran or the member of the Legion is actually in the reserve. That is how it is. It's in the reserve. The fact that you are retired, you can be called into service if need be. So if there's that consideration or that policy to bring back some of the air servicemen with wealth of experience to join the ongoing operation against insurgency and banditry and all the rest is quite in order. Because this is what is done elsewhere all over the world. It's a part of global best practice, whereby there are some people who are skilled, but they have to be retired maybe due to their age or due to other reasons, and they still find that they are useful. Of course, they can be brought back to the field, and that's very important, especially in the area of intelligence gathering. That is, it doesn't have to be real combat roles. Intelligence gathering in the area of technological support, engineers, these and you name it. These are areas that the air serviceman can still be useful, and that is very cogent right now in terms of ongoing operation in the various task forces across the country.
So we celebrate the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, day in, day out. Let's have your projections for the military in the next 5 years, and what would it take to achieve the feat? In the next 5 years, there's no more insurgency, no more banditry. What will it take to achieve these feats?
Yes, a lot has to go into that. Of course, it has to require a lot of logistic support. The soldiers at the front have to be given a lot of logistic support in terms of ammunition, in terms of accoutrements, in terms of equipment, so that they can do their jobs. And then also, it has to also involve a reorientation in the training, because the security threat in Nigeria today is no more conventional. It has become asymmetrical. The role of the armed forces has to be, the training has to be re-engineered to focus more on internal security as against external security. External threats are no longer in vogue. It is more of internal security and policing role, so that the army can assist the police and the various security agents in achieving total security for Nigeria. And for that to happen, there need to be a lot of technological innovation brought in place. The Nigerian forces have to go to the cutting edge. We have to look at the area of geospatial intelligence, using technology to gather intelligence and go away from the conventional aspect. We just have to be we have to be at least a step ahead of the adversary, so as to be able to achieve aim. Then, of course, the soldier of today has found himself more and more in the field of interacting with the civilians. So there has to be increase in the training of civil-military relations. There has to be that confidence building between the military and the civilians, so that there can be mutual understanding to avoid unnecessary friction. And if this is done, Nigerian Armed Forces will actually be at the cutting edge and take its position in the scheme of things in Africa and in the global scene.
Okay, thank you so much, Commando Christian Anuge, retired but not retired.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on Network News.
It's a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Now, as the nation remembers the sacrifices of its fallen heroes and members of the armed forces currently on the front lines in several theaters of operations, some war veterans have appealed to the federal government to look into the welfare of ex-servicemen and their families. Dr. Ogunyeme has the report.
Commonwealth countries, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day is celebrated on the 11th of November yearly. But Nigeria, however, moves that date to January 15th to accommodate the commemoration of the end of the Nigerian Civil War in 1970. From the grounds of the Memorial Arcade, I went in search of some of these veterans whom the day has been dedicated to. At the office of the Nigerian Legion, Oshodi, I met retired Major Salahuddin Agbajilola, who left the army after 12 years of service following a leg injury.
I'm a driver. I'm driving the powerhouse, those electricians. So that is when I returned from the war front. But at that time, I'm not hearing well. So I was retired by then and later joined this Nigerian Legion in 1978.
Although the Nigerian Legion provides solace for these ex-servicemen, it is not without its challenges, as retired Colonel Samuel Folakwade explains.
We have people now dying, their children now become nobody to take care. There must be a way to look into their affairs and behave educationally.
Unlike other events celebrated under the shadow of COVID-19, the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day stands out as a unique event. In Lagos, Dotun Okunyemi, NTA News.
Still on security, the Directorate of Defense Media Operations DMO says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has destroyed some Boko Haram terrorist vehicles and eliminated several of their fighters along the Jagana axis of Borno State. DMO Coordinator Major General John Eneche says this was achieved through airstrikes executed on 13th January 2021 after intelligence reports revealed that the terrorists were conducting logistic movement through the Jagana main axis of the state. A Nigerian Air Force intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance aircraft dispatched to the area subsequently spotted the VHT vehicles at a location south of Jacana. NAV helicopter gunships engaged the convoy in successive attacks, delivering accurate hits in the target area, which resulted in the destruction of 2 BHT vehicles. Several of the terrorists were also eliminated, while one of the logistic vehicles was seen overturned. We now pause to remember our fallen heroes. Don't go away.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, that gives a hand to thine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For make a cup of kindness yet for old Lang Syne. And here's a hand, my trusty.
Indeed, today is a day for sober reflections. May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Up ahead on the news, NAFDAC warns against fake COVID-19 vaccines. Details after these messages. Stay with us.
My honeycomb, my flavored chocolate, a yakba for you now.
I'm coming.
Come, let me spoil you. Look, this is not boil or abscess. Now money. Guys, I beg. I'm gonna show for King's Lounge right now. Babes, yakpa for you.
Find your first. Get a Glow special data plan. Dial *777# Glow.
For you to tanda for this world, you gats know what's up. Sabi wetin dey ground, then start to do your run. Get ginger to sabi every. Because when you fit see the different side of the world, anything dey possible. BBC News for Pidgin, make your life better.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
Dear customer, link your Airtel number to your national identification number today. Here are easy ways you can do it. Dial *121*1# on your Airtel line and follow the prompts on the screen. Type in your 11-digit government-approved NIN number. You will receive a confirmation message to confirm your entry. You can also visit www.airtel.com.ng/NIN to link your phone number to your NIN. If you do not know your NIN, simply dial *346# to get it. No stress, no wahala.
Airtel, the smartphone network. This is the Wilson family last week. This is the Wilson family this week. What's changed? What? The Wilson family got maximum entertainment for less, and now they're closer than ever. Your family can be too.
How does this work?
With world-class international channels that put the quality back in your quality time.
That's what I'm talking about.
GoTV Max will bring you and your family closer in no time. So upgrade to GoTV Max for only 2,999 naira today. Make you enjoy. GoTV. Love it.
After dropping 2 points from a winning position last week, Wolverhampton Wanderers will be excited to welcome struggling West Bromwich Albion to the Molineux Stadium. Will West Brom prove an easy 3 points? Find out as Wolverhampton Wanderers take on West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. this Saturday. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Papai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
You're welcome back. Now let's bring you up to speed with other news making the rounds. National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says it has not received any application from any COVID-19 vaccine manufacturer and no vaccines have been approved by NAFDAC. Director General NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeye, stated this at an emergency virtual conference. Haman Jabani reports.
With the approval of some COVID-19 vaccines, there are indications that fake COVID-19 vaccines are already in circulation around the world, Nigeria inclusive. It is in light of this that the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is asking government establishments and agencies not to order COVID-19 vaccine without confirmation from NAFDAC. The agency says it is discussing with the manufacturers of candidate COVID-19 vaccine concerning potential emergency use authorization, registration or licensing of their product as the case may be, while assuring applicants that if phase 3 clinical data are convincing and robust with regards to safety and efficacy and the vaccines has been submitted for WHO emergency use listing, NAFDAC will welcome the application for emergency use authorization in Nigeria.
Despite the use of reliance for the emergency use authorization, NAFDAC will note clinical peculiarities in form of serious or adverse events following immunization in the dossier that we are reviewing or in the application.
The agency says it is collaborating with sister agencies and partners, plans to use traceability with GS1 technology and monitor vaccine distribution while assuring Nigerians that any dossier will be evaluated before being used in Nigeria despite WHO's approval. Hanman Jabani, NTA News.
And in the face of surging second wave of COVID-19, the Nasarawa state government is engaging district heads across the state for grassroots mobilization and sensitization among the locals on adherence to protocols. Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports.
With the second wave of COVID-19 hitting harder and what experts describe as nonchalant attitude of residents towards non-pharmaceutical safety protocols, the state government is adopting another measure to curb community spread of the virus. District heads are now to enforce compliance to COVID-19 protocols in their communities. Governor Abdullahi Sule asked them to assist government in ensuring that their subjects adhere strictly to the ban on mass gathering, social distancing, washing of hands, and use of face masks.
That because of your closeness to the populace, you will do us a big favor by being the ones who will convey our concerns and the different areas of protocols and assist us on the awareness when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic.
On security, government urged district heads to monitor influx of people into their domains and provide useful information to security agencies. District heads assure government of their commitment to peace-building mechanism adopted by the state government, while pledging to work hard in curbing community transmission of COVID-19. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Education now maintains that the school resumption date of Monday, 18th January still remains. A statement from the ministry indicates that the decision was reached after comprehensive meetings with state governors, commissioners of education, proprietors of private schools and heads of institutions, unions, parents and state students association to appraise the situation. It directs parents and respective institutions to ensure full compliance with COVID-19 protocols such as compulsory wearing of face masks by all students, teachers and workers. The statement encouraged schools to ensure temperature checks and hand washing facilities at strategic locations, constant supply of water and sanitizers, enforcement of maintenance of social distancing and suspension of large gatherings such as assembly and visiting days. It also called for other measures including limitations in class sizes and hostel occupancy, availability of functional health clinics with facilities for isolation and transportation of suspected cases to medical facilities, amongst others non-pharmaceutical protocols. Meanwhile, schools in Kwara State are set to resume on Monday, January 18th for the 2020-2021 second term academic classes under strict compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols to guard against the community spread of the virus. Kainde Omolosho monitored the level of preparedness by some schools in Ilori.
Khadija Musa is SSS3 student. She, like many other students, is eager to resume for the academic year.
But because of COVID-19 and everything that's been happening, I cannot hug them, but I have to shake them with elbow so that there's going to be social distance between us.
I visited some public and private schools in the state and noticed the provision of hand wash buckets, soap and hand sanitizers. Another safety measure is an isolation center in a private school for any student with symptoms of the virus.
We ask from the gates that they will check them
before they came into the compound to put on their nose masks. And we try as much as possible to see that when they're in the class, they are not congested.
If you want to run school bus, let it be 2 students per seat. If it is a longer one, let it be 3 students on a seat, and collect same money that will be enough for you. Any parent that cannot sustain that, they should be bringing their own children to the school.
The State Ministry of Education has put in place a task force to monitor and enforce compliance with the safety protocols by schools in the state.
It's not enough for students to bring the face mask, but to make use of it and make use of their sanitizer. So to curtail this is the effort of all stakeholders.
As schools resume Monday next week, pupils like Khadija are expected to unite with their friends and learn while observing the safety protocols against the community spread of the coronavirus in the state. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Now, the School Aid Information Technology app is introducing a one-stop shop for educational research that allows students to do self-assessment in their preparation for examinations, enabling them to receive scores through the app. A statement by Samuel Daniel for the school described the platform as a stimulation software that provides national and international educational consultancy services over the internet and other related networks, empowering students with unique opportunities of accessing exam preparation materials with just a click on their phones, laptops and tablets. The School Aid app will be live as from February 2021, and students are encouraged to take advantage by visiting www.schooladdapp.com for details. I'll take that again, www.schooladdapp.com for details. Federal government says it is addressing challenges of erosion in parts of the country through construction of bridges and reclaimed earthwork. Secretary of the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said this while inaugurating Ecological Fund projects in Tudunwada community of Nasarawa State. Aliu Tijani Muhammad tells us more.
Tudunwada in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State suffers ecological challenges with attendant loss of lives and property.
This is a bridge that we lost a lot of lives. This bridge has been a major problem to our community.
Federal government through the Ecological Fund office has intervened, thereby bringing respite to the people of the community. A bridge, network of roads and reclaimed earthwork are projects executed to control erosion in the area. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says the present administration is addressing environmental challenges across the country through various interventions, as he urged the locals to take ownership of the projects.
The project was intended to check the very serious erosion of the embankments of the Sabo Kashi Bridge, restore vehicular and pedestrian movement across the river, as well as reduce dangers to lives and properties.
Governor Abdullahi Sule and the FCT Minister Mohamed Musa Bello says, in addition to flood control, the new road will serve as alternative route to Abuja.
I want to continue to show appreciation to Mr. President for all the support Nasarawa State continues to receive in all areas.
Similar projects are being inaugurated across the country to mitigate impact of flooding. From Karu, Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
Benefits of the Kano Maradi Rail Project in focus. Details as we join Adiola in our Lagos studio. Hello, Adiola.
Jermaine. The Kano Maradi Rail Project has been described as a courageous move by the federal government in its desperate attempt to rejuvenate domestic and international trade. Beyond this benefit, transportation experts are looking at the potential of the project to unlock the untapped investment in the northern part of the country. Michael Olaleye reports.
The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, appending his signature to the birth of a strategic rail network. It is the 284-kilometer Kano to Maradi rail project, expected to serve as gateway to unearthing the wealth inherent across the Sahara. This is because the two major locations do not just share cultural trades, but they are major hub for transport and agricultural trade.
Even when I was not the MD, when I was director, we have been meeting with Niger government, and we move one or twice to Nguru for them, and they will not use road and move their goods, but that's multiple handling. So if we say we stop Kano and stop at the border of Nigeria, and it's just 20 kilometers to a very big, busy hub, why it makes sense to take it there.
It is not just a project born out of intuition, but a fulfillment of a master plan with regional dominance as the watchword, now that Africans must trade on a single platform.
Kano Maradi rail project has been on the table since the tenure of Alhaji Umaru Diko as Federal Minister of Transportation. It's part of the 25-year program for development of the rail network in the country. Just as the federal government is presently concentrating on the West African coast, the rail line project being developed towards Dakar, it is the same concept that is being used for the Kano Maradi rail project.
It's going to open up the northern states of Jigawa, Katsina states, and a lot of jobs will be provided to the indigenes during the construction.
The timing of the $1.96 billion project has generated divergent views, especially now that the country is in recession.
The best thing for any country during the period of recession is to develop infrastructure.
The single-track standard gauge line, expected to have 12 stations, is the continuation of the Lagos-Kano Railway, and it is believed that it will offer the much-anticipated seamless connection between the coastline and the Sahara deserts. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
December Consumer Price Index released. That will be on our business news with Abolade Salami. Over to you, Abolade.
Thank you so much, Adiola. Good evening and welcome to the business news segment. The Consumer Price Index released this Friday recorded 15.75% increase year-on-year from 14.89% in November of 2020, representing an increase of 0.86%. And the figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics, the headline index rose by 1.61% from 1.60% in November on month-on-month basis, while the percentage change in the average composite consumer price index for 12 months ending December 2020 over the average for the previous month was 13.25%, representing a 0.33% increase over the 12.92% recorded in November 2020.
Food inflation increased by 19.56% from 18.3% in November. But core inflation almost remained flat, just increased from about 11% to about 11.37%. So the major component of the increase we saw was in food inflation.
Meanwhile, expectations are high that the country will soon exit recession and progress on the path of growth. And now let's shift our attention to the capital markets. Investors got smiling faces on the last trading day of the week as market sentiment remains positive. Details in this report.
The last trading day of the week saw the market close in the green territory, appreciating by 0.52% to close the all-share index at 41,176.14 basis point. Volume of shares finished at 666 million, valued at 6.3 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 6,980 deals, with a market capitalization traded at 21.5 trillion naira. Flour mills led on the gainers table, appreciating by 9.33%, followed by Presco and MTN Nigeria gaining 2.78% and 1.19%, while Adrova, May & Baker and Zenith Bank depreciated in figures by 9.84%, 5.71% and 0.38%. On the activity chart, virtually all sectors closed in the green as NSE banking, insurance, consumer goods and industrial gained 0.44%, 4.14%, 1.41% and 0.08%, while the oil and gas sector declined in figure by 0.54%.
Market report concludes business news segment. Juma in Abuja will be back with the rest of the news after this short timeout. Please stay with us.
Research Institute of Nigeria, FRIN, located in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, southwest Nigeria, has been repositioned for better service delivery to its teeming clients across the globe. The institute remains undoubtedly as a foremost research center of excellence with respect to knowledge-based forestry activities as measured by the acquired scientific breakthrough. FRIN has demonstrated that youths, women and retirees can make millions of naira practicing low-capital agriculture. These include cane, rat, rabbit, and snail farming with returns on investments regularly. Added to its feathers is a certification by NAFDAC to the FRIN C-Tone Herbal Mixture and Remedy for the management of COVID-19 related ailments as immune booster. The institute is recognized by several international agencies. Recently, it got approval for 3 biosphere reserves in Nigeria by the UNESCO, MAB, and ICC. FRIN has come to stay. The future is very bright in making the forest profitable.
Just how powerful is the healing power of Vaseline in protecting your skin this Harmattan season? Imagine this leaf is like your skin. We applied Vaseline jelly to one leaf, the other we left alone. The difference is visible. If it can keep a leaf vibrant, imagine what it could do for your skin during Harmattan. Nothing locks in moisture better to keep your skin restored, soft and smooth. Your trusted companion during this Harmattan season.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
Dropping 2 points from a winning position last week, Wolverhampton Wanderers will be excited to welcome struggling West Bromwich Albion to the Molineux Stadium. Will West Brom prove an easy 3 points? Find out as Wolverhampton Wanderers take on West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. this Saturday. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Papai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for staying with us. The agitations and misconceptions among Niger Delta youths, which has resulted to distrust, will soon be put to rest following the pact by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, and the Presidential Amnesty Program targeted at having lasting peace and making the region economically viable. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, disclosed this after a closed-door meeting with ex-agitators at the Palace of King Ateke Tom in Okrika local government area of Rivers State. Osinachi Abraham reports.
The visit to Okochiri Kingdom is aimed at repositioning and securing development and peace in the Niger Delta through constructive engagement with key players in the region. Senator Godswill Akpabio, while unveiling plans to bring in foreign direct investment, create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, urged youths of the region to take advantage of the many poverty alleviation programs of the federal government to better their lives.
I'm quite pleased that now we are on course. We must find ways to develop modalities of moving this region forward.
If we say somebody is empowered, it's either an entrepreneur who can stand on his feet or is so well trained that he can compete for any job on his own steam.
At an earlier interaction with the youths, NDDC's interim administrator, Barrister Effiong Akwa, said he is determined to change the narratives and bring on board new ideas that will bring lasting development and create jobs for the teeming youths of the region.
We want to see Niger Delta youth gainfully trained, ready to be engaged in the society. We want to see an end to agitation. We want to take these things away from the Niger Delta.
The generals and ex-agitators who received the team thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for the appointment of Barrister Effiong Akwa as interim administrator NDDC and commended the collaboration by the key actors to rebuild the region. The youths expressed optimism that the NDDC boss, if given enough time and support, will deliver on his mandate of repositioning the Niger Delta. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
Time now to link up with Charles Abba in our Makurdi Network studio for more on the Armed Forces Remembrance Day and also update on the cholera outbreak in parts of Benue. Hello, Charles. It's good to see you.
Hello, Jumei, and a warm welcome to Makurdi. The Benue State government and other eminent personalities have lauded the armed forces for their commitment to the unity of the nation as well as sustainability of peace in the country. This was made known when the Benue State Deputy Governor joined top military officers and others to lay wreaths at the Arcade of the Unknown Soldier in honor of the fallen heroes as Nigeria marks 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Correspondent covered the occasion and now reports.
15 every year is dedicated to honor armed forces personnel who made the supreme sacrifice during the First and Second World War, as well as the Nigerian Civil War, which ended on January 15, 1970, to instill peace and unity in Nigeria. The day is also used to celebrate veteran soldiers and service officers in the front line of defense of the country against insurgencies and terrorism. In Benue State, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day was marked with the Deputy Governor of the state, Benson Abonu, joining top military officers and the Tortive and Chairman, Benue State Traditional Council, Professor James Ayase, to lay wreaths at the Arcade of the Unknown Soldier at the IBB Square, Makurdi, in honor of fallen heroes. Commander, Nigerian Legion, Benue State, Sebastian Adawa, and the Tortive, Professor James Ayase, lauded the armed forces for their commitment to the unity of the nation.
We fought this country, we want unity, we want peace. My advice is that they should remain faithful to the country, Nigeria, protect the constitution of the nation and the territorial integrity of this country.
The Deputy Governor, Benson Abonu, released 23 white pigeons to symbolize the relative peace in Benue State.
And on health matters, Benue State government says it has deployed a team of medical experts to Agatu and Goma local government areas to contain the cholera outbreak that has killed over 10 persons. Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Joseph Ngbea, who disclosed this, warned people in the affected areas against drinking from contaminated water. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports.
Recently, there have been reported cases of cholera outbreak in Abinse, Goma local government area, and some communities in Agatu local government area that killed over 10 persons, with several others hospitalized.
ADG village has about 9 cases. Abobo village has about 12 cases. Adana has 9 cases. And Ogam village also have about 10 cases. We've lost over 10 people in the hospital.
This prompted the deployment of a medical team to the affected communities to contain the outbreak and stop the mortality rate. Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Joseph Ngbea, who led other health officials on an assessment visit, advised residents of riverine communities to avoid drinking water from contaminated streams and rivers to prevent further outbreak of waterborne diseases.
Because we saw some children were severely dehydrated and there was no doctor. I know management of children is very sensitive, so we asked the teaching hospital to send a pediatrician, which they did. And because of that, they have a corporate social responsibility to ensure that the neighboring primary health cares or even general hospitals are well taken care of.
He further disclosed that drugs worth over 3 million naira and other medical equipment have been deployed to the affected communities. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
With our report on cholera outbreak, we round off our contribution from Makudi. Jume is back to you.
Thank you so much, Charles. Back in Abuja, Nigeria beats Burkina Faso through to final of WAFU B Under 17 Championship. Details of these and more on our sports updates.
Many thanks for joining us on Sports Update. I'm Bade Adeleye. Let's begin with continental football as the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria on Friday sealed their place in the final of the WAFU B Under 17 Championship in Lome, Togo. Michael Emmanuel's second-half strike was enough for Coach Fatah Amal's boys to secure a 1-0 semi-final win over Burkina Faso. The Eaglets have also qualified for the CAF Under 17 Cup of Nations. Meanwhile, Nigeria Professional Football League leaders Rivers United will be hoping to strengthen their lead atop the table when they play at home to Heartland FC on Sunday in one of the matchday 5 encounters. Champions Plateau United host Adamawa United, while Enyimba and Kano Pillars face off. In a related development, the 2020-2021 season of the Nigeria National League is set to begin on 30th January 2021. The decision was reached at the league's annual general meeting in Abakaliki.
My message to them is very simple. They have to play to the rules. They have a rules and regulation guiding the competition.
And finally, Premier League action returns on NTA this weekend, with Super Eagles defender Shemi Ajayi's West Brom taking their relegation battle to Wolverhampton Wanderers at Molineux this Saturday in a match that will be live on NTA Network from 1 in the afternoon. Other pairings will see Fulham entertain Chelsea later on Saturday, with the big one between champions Liverpool and table toppers Manchester United coming up at Anfield on Sunday. And that concludes Sports Update. I'm Bade Adeleye.
The death has occurred of Chief Emmanuel Temba Allah, a retired commissioner of police, and his wife Eugenia Allah. Burial arrangement as announced by Susan Allah, Assistant Director Administration at the NTA for the family, include wake keep on Sunday 17th January at their residence number 15 to 17 Commissioner Allah Street off Giado Hospital Road, New GRA, Boko. Their remains leave Boko to Umbakura Bako Seetio Alalene's compound in Kotien, Taka local government area of Benue State on Monday the 18th, while final interment is scheduled for Tuesday the 19th at 8 a.m. Well, that's the news tonight. Thanks so much for watching. I am Jomo Yusuf.